In his home state, House Speaker Paul Ryan introduced Donald Trump. And although Trump had his differences with Ryan during the campaign, he said they'll be working closely together to get his agenda through Congress, also making it clear he now thinks highly of him.
You know, honestly, he's like a fine wine. Every day goes by, I get to appreciate his genius more and more. Now, if he ever goes against me, I'm not going to say that, okay? He's a great guy, and we have some amazing things in store. And we're going to work on taxes. We're going to work on Obamacare. We're going to work on things, and he's going to lead the way. So thank you.
Trump also took on the topic of his unconventional pick for Secretary of State, ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson.
Rex will be a fierce advocate for America's interests around the world and has the insights and talents necessary to help reverse years of foreign policy blunders and disasters.
While Tillerson has the approval of many, some Democratic and Republican senators question his close ties to Russia, setting him up for a possible confirmation battle. Meanwhile, Trump continues to meet with a wide variety of people. Tuesday alone, speaking with Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, music star Kanye West, and former NFL players Jim Brown and Ray Lewis. On the agenda for today, some of America's top tech leaders from companies like Apple, Facebook, Google, and Amazon. Despite early reports that Trump's transition team was in chaos, he's nearly finished filling out his key choices for his administration, choosing former Texas Governor Rick Perry for Energy Secretary and Representative Ryan Zinke of Montana for Interior Secretary. All of the cabinet positions require Senate approval, with Democrats certain to oppose some of them, but Republicans holding the majority and the ability to confirm Trump's choices. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Well, with us now to talk about the Trump transition is Sean Spicer. He's the communications director for the Republican National Committee, and we welcome you to the 700 Club. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
I was told that Trump might well just make a blanket cancellation of all the executive orders of his predecessor and then come in with a fresh slate. Is there any truth to that?
Well, he's looking at every one of them. I think the reality is that he understands that a lot of these regulations, a lot of these executive orders are hampering economic growth and job creation. So he's got his legislative team right now reviewing all of these executive orders that were issued, not just the executive orders, but also a lot of the regulations that were instituted over the last 8 years. Because you talk to companies, and it's something that he did over and over again. You saw the carrier deal. And one of the things that he was able to tell carriers, not only do I want to keep the jobs here, but I'm going to try to make it easier for you to continue to grow jobs, make less regulation, take the tax burden down. That's what's hampering job creation. We're just not competitive anymore. And as a successful businessman, he understands this.
You think the Republicans in the Senate are going to go along with his agenda? Are they going to be, we look at Tillerson and maybe Lindsey Graham and John McCain and some of them may be going the other direction. Are they going to line up? You've got to have 51 votes at least.
You know, I actually think that Rex Tillerson's going to get high into the 50s. And I say this as someone who's got an opportunity to talk to him a little and understand his story better. When you understand not just what a success he's been as a world-class business leader, but as an individual, he is going to bring a breath of fresh air to Washington, D.C., to the State Department and reestablish America's place in the world. He is a tough negotiator, and he knows how to get things done. And one of the things that Mr. Trump saw in him is a guy who really knows how to be successful, advocate for a position, and get results. And he looked and said, that's what I want as a Secretary of State, because we have to reestablish America's place in the world. And this is the guy that you want talking to foreign leaders. He's got 4 decades of relationships around the globe with people that he's worked with, gotten to know, and that he starts on day one with somebody that they know that they can trust, but someone that they know is going to be tough and fight for America.
You know, every day the media is after Trump. It's just unbelievable the stuff they're coming up with, and they've got all this hacking, and Nancy Pelosi's daughter is one of the electors, and she's going to say, well, I've got to have a briefing on Russian hacking. What do you think? I mean, the Electoral College is going to meet next week. I mean, is there any problem with getting that thing through?
No. Well, first, Donald Trump won with 306 electoral votes. He carried 2,300 counties. 62 million Americans voted for him. I think his win, it's sad to see some on the left and, frankly, some in the media, as you point out, try to delegitimize the breadth and depth of the win that he had on November 8th. But look, you know this. You've been fighting this for, how many decades?
Yeah.
The liberal media wants to paint conservative ideas, people standing up for religious liberty and social conservative, people who stand up and fight for life. They're against it. And we know that. And I think that one of the things that Donald Trump does better than anybody is speak directly to the American people. He knows how to fight. He knows how to bring that message directly to them. And he knows how to take conservative values and make sure that the American people know that he's going to fight for them, whether it's life or fiscal policy, but he's going to do it and he's going to bring real change. And I think when you look at the totality of the people that he has brought into his cabinet for consideration so far, they are all world-class successful people, people in government, people in business, people in academic, people from the military. He is a guy that is going to get real things done, and there's no question that business as usual is over, and I think there's a lot of people that are really scared about that.
If you would analyze, you've got to have a certain number of priorities, and you say 1, 2, 3. What do you think initially? He's coming out of the box. He's going to get, have his inauguration. It's going to be a wonderful time, and then he's going to sit at a desk probably inside the Capitol. He's got to make some decisions. What would you say are the top 3?
Well, Obamacare is definitely one. I think energy independence is another. Trade and withdrawing from TPP and notifying Mexico that he's going to renegotiate NAFTA are another. But you're going to see a flurry of activity. It's not going to just be 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 to 100 on day one. He is not going to. Honestly, when you start realizing all the stuff that he talks about, it's not. That first day, I'm not sure he's going to have time. He may stop by an inaugural ball. But he is going to start the second that his hand comes off the Bible, making sure that real change occurs in Washington.
What about that Iranian nuclear deal? It was so flawed, and the Iranians have taken advantage of it in an egregious fashion. Is he going to go for an overturn of that, or is he just going to try to modify it?
Well, I think he's going to try to figure out what options are available. He understands that was a bad deal. It was bad for America. And so he's going to work with his team. He's going to work with Congress to figure out what options are available to get a much, much better deal for America.
I'm very optimistic. I think this cabinet is unbelievable. Is there any opposition? Tillerson is probably the most contentious, but he's got some other people in there that will draw some fire. But has he, again, one more time, has he got the Democrats in the Senate lined up enough so they can push this thing through? Harry Reid did the nuclear option, so you don't have to worry about, 30 votes and so forth. What do you think? Is there going to be any problem getting these people approved?
Yeah, we've got a margin there, and I think Senator Manchin from West Virginia, who's a Democrat, has talked about supporting the Trump nominees, so that gets you to 53. I think there's some other red state Democrats that are clearly understand that his message resonated in their state, and they'll be voting with, if not all, at least a majority of the nominees. But you bring up Rex Tillerson. I think the biggest flaw right now is that he's just not known to a lot of folks. The more people know his record of success and who he is as an individual, I think that vote total is going to grow higher and higher. But beyond that, I think every one of these folks is going to sail through. There's no question that every one of them is highly qualified and understands the task at hand.
Well, Sean, thank you so much for being with us. We're with you best, and we can help you along the way. Give us a call, okay?
Thank you, Reverend. I appreciate it.
Sean Spicer, the Communications Director of the Republican National Committee.